County Talk, it's Jake coming at you with some late night reaction to Notts' second signing of today after Norburn signed this morning. That is Mazia Kuyar, if I've not butchered the pronunciation of that name. The second signing of Notts is today, which is quite a surprise. I think everyone is just waiting with bated breath at the minute. Every time Notts tweet, is it going to be the manager or not? But I think a signing is the second best thing. It always adds a bit of excitement in the pre-season, doesn't it? So yeah, it's a sign. He's signed on a 1-year deal with an option to extend for another year, which is the same as Norburn this morning, which is quite interesting. I assume it's based on appearances or something like that. Must be. Obviously, Notts have done their press bit about him, so all the background information is on there. A very, very sort of left field signing, I'd say. I haven't seen many sort of threads on X or anything like that, or his name being banded around on social media in terms of as signing him or anything like that, or as a potential signing. I could be wrong, but from what I've seen, I've not heard of him as a potential signing, should I say. But I think it's an interesting one. So just to give you a brief bit of background, he's 27 years old, played 45 appearances for Kidderminster last season in the National League North, who by all accounts I think had quite a good season, finishing third, ultimately losing to Chester in the playoff semi-finals. He scored 13 goals in all competitions and 12 assists. So I couldn't tell you what that is over like an XG in terms of 45 games, but I don't think it's a bad return for a sort of an attacking midfielder, which is sort of his preferred role, sort of out wide or central, as it says on the press release from Notts this afternoon. But yeah, it's sort of a really interesting, tricky player, I feel. it will just a bit of creativity, a bit of spark, playing in that sort of behind the striker role, sort of free roaming behind in the sort of midfield area. So yeah, and as I was saying, it's on the Notts website. It's a data-driven one, so he's sort of been picked up from Kidderminster as Riley Reynolds was there from Notts on loan last season. So obviously, Notts would have been scouting and looking at him, and obviously been picked up through that sort of that model. We've picked players like that before for the National League North. I don't think anyone needs any reminder of Langstaff, who obviously hit the ground running in terms of his step up from the National League North, the National Leagues, then League Two, so it might, some players don't quite have that bounce, but it's one of those that you hope that he just hits the ground running in terms of his productivity when he starts playing in League Two for us. Quite an interesting point as well. Obviously, his background is obviously quite well talked about. Afghanistan international, fled from the Taliban at the age of 2 apparently. So I think it's a lot of the adversity that he's faced to get to the UK and to obviously play football to a point. He's suffered a serious injury in his past before as well, and to come back from that and to obviously play at a professional standard, given everything, I think that's complete credit to him. I think it's a signing. It's a positive signing. I've got there's nothing that I've read on any of the social media platforms that said he's not good enough or he won't be good enough, etc. He's apparently well valued at York as well. There's a cracking video circulating of him skinning the man in the playoff winning season for Notts. So if he just comes in and starts replicating some things like that, I'm sure he'll be a crowd favourite, especially if it's against MK Dons. So yeah, it's a signing. It's positive. Definitely a football radar signing. So yeah, just look forward to seeing him in pre-season. We go on. The wait for a manager continues. So hopefully we'll hear some news about that, and you'll be hearing from one of us on the new manager in due course, or management team if things are to be believed. Anyway, you guys.